Here we go. It's the Dirty Dozen, as Brett said. I mean, we're not the Dirty Dozen because some of those guys didn't make it. Hang on. At the end of the movie, weren't there 4 of them left in the Dirty Dozen? Was there 3 or 4 left?
I don't remember. I haven't seen that movie forever.
I actually did see it a couple weeks ago. It was on.
I don't even think I've seen the
TCM
whole thing.
Or something. Oh, it's a good movie. I think there was 3 or 4 of them left. So that would mean us and him on TV.
And Jim?
Or
Nate?
Or, no,
one of us has got to go.
Nate would be the last
sole
one to
survivors.
get killed off.
How about Ryan, Jim, Nate, and Brett, and no Jerry?
Okay, gotta go. See you, bye.
Thanks for coming over.
And then there was 4.
You gonna leave before the pizza gets here?
Oh, no.
Pizza? We got pizza coming?
Pizza
Pizza
coming?
Or weren't we supposed to know that?
Casey's bringing it?
Jody said that she
I
was
am
gonna
very
order
hungry
pizza.
for a Whataburger right now. If I've got to stare at that shirt all day.
This was my Father's Day gift. My wife and my daughter.
Did they bring you like a Whataburger back?
They know the way to my heart. Number one.
Oh,
a number one with cheese.
Number 1 with cheese.
And a DP.
Oh, you got to have Dr. Pepper.
Or Coke, as they call it. What kind
Well,
of
yeah,
Coke?
what kind of Coke do you
Coke
want?
you
Dr.
want?
Pepper.
I'll take a Dr. Pepper. What? Isn't a Coke a Coke?
Nope, not down there. It's
down
not.
south.
And I have this conversation with my wife a lot.
I mean, I think by now you'd be used to it.
I am kind of used to it, but I still can't. Even after 20 years, I still can't make it. It still, to me, is.
Yeah, I did see.
It's still funny.
I was scrolling through that's the picture I should have had you get to put up was you and Gingy were on Facebook. Man, they look like just these sweet
When they were
little
young?
innocent kids that didn't know any better or
What
do
was that
anything
picture
wrong.
from?
I don't know. Let me
Probably
see.
Father's Day would be my guess.
Let me see if I can find it.
Happy wife, happy life. That's what they say, right?
Screenshot.
Is your wife happy?
How can she not be?
I was trying to
I
dig
know
him. I was
myself.
trying to
She's
dig him
happy.
a hole, but it
He's
didn't work.
here and she's not.
It depends on what your definition of happy is. My wife is not happy. She lives in Iowa. You know, she still misses Texas, obviously quite a bit because she buys me Texas shirts. Whataburger.
Maybe she's trying to lure you down there.
It's Whataburger. Is it Waterburger? Is it Whataburger? See, we need her in here for this.
How do they
'cause
say it down there?
She talk. It's like Waterburger, like water.
Water.
Like water, like the water. you drink.
Whataburger?
Yeah,
Whataburger.
she calls it Waterburger. I'm like,
Yeah.
how do you spell that?
You know what I call it?
Your favorite?
You don't like
Not
it, Jim?
quite.
not good. Jim's not a big number 1 with cheese fan.
No.
You don't rent
I've had
those
some-
very long?
What Jim is a fan of is Subways, and he gets really irritated when they're closed. Holy cow. I can tell you from Luxembourg to Sioux City, from Sioux City to Omaha, where every Subway is.
And none of them are open when you drive by them, right?
Oh, or they don't have the Capicola ham, or they don't have the lettuce wrap, or they don't have... And
The processed meat's not good for you.
yeah, Jim, I've told him that.
I get my mind set on a
Salty and all
sandwich, and
kinds of
I
shit.
want a sandwich.
Oh, and he does. It was like 13 phone calls one day.
Okay, so if you go into a Subway today, what do you order, Jerry? Just quick. Don't think about it.
I just get the cold cut combo.
What do you get, Ryan?
The oven roasted chicken breast.
Jim, what do you get?
Matzo meat.
I get a foot-long meatball every time with mozzarella.
Well, I can tell you
I
if you
love their
want one,
meatball.
Brett,
I've never had the meatball.
Don't go
don't go to the one in Sioux City after.
after 11 o'clock. Here's the crazy
closed.
thing about this. So we leave Park Jefferson the other night, and I just
Separately.
Yeah,
Separately.
yeah, we were together. I would not
Wasn't
be
date
seen.
night?
I would not.
Date
It
night.
wasn't date night.
Date night of the races.
That was Monday night. But anyway, so I stop at the truck. I stop at the little place there in
Loves.
the South Sioux. And I'm walking around, and I'm like, oh, it says Subway, and here's a sign that says Subway's closed. So I pick my phone up, take a picture, text it right to Jim. I turn around, and there he is. He goes, I got your text, and it was just, I was like, don't tell me this is this Subway, as he's walking in the door.
Wait, hey, guys, can we hold on 1 second? I have a call from Carson coming in. Yes, Carson, what can I do for you? Wait, are you gonna make fun of anybody right now?
Ask him where our Amazon gifts are.
Yeah, Jerry wants to know where his Amazon gift is. We're doing a podcast right now, and you're live on it.
Carson from St. Cloud, welcome to the show.
Carson from St. Cloud, you're our next caller.
Hey, hold it up by the microphone so we can hear.
We play all your requests. What do you want to hear?
He's not caller 7. He did not win tickets to Journey.
Oh, shoot.
Okay, Carson, I'll call you later.
All right. Last podcast was June 8th.
It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks.
June 8th? That would have been
June 8th is what I had wrote down.
2 weeks from
That'd been
yesterday?
about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, we had
weeks
some
yesterday.
big races. We had 5,000 to win sport mods at
You've been on the
Park
road.
Jefferson. I've been on the road
10,000 to
quite a
win modifieds and 141.
bit.
Yep. We had Dan on the last show talking about the Clash
Yeah.
Creek, and we've had it since then.
We've had it, and
Had
Johnny
a little-
Whitman went back-to-back champion on that.
Had a little weather trouble. We talked about some of that. What do you do if you rain out?
Well, there was like a
141 was in that
1,700
situation.
scenarios going on.
Yeah.
And that was even happening on the trip up. Of
And
would
what
you
they
do?
did was the best thing for the racers. And I'm going to tell you right now, not a lot of promoters would have done what Dan and Toby and Scott did.
I'll be honest. I didn't think it made sense, to be quite honest. That's just my opinion.
It didn't make sense.
I don't think
When
it
I was
made sense.
standing, when I was standing there,
There's aspects of it that did not make sense making that decision. That's just my opinion. But like Jim said, it made a lot of sense for the racers. But in my opinion, it probably didn't make as much sense.
To make it a one-day show, you mean?
Well, the way that they handled it, because they had a large entry fee, they had a big purse, they had when you have an event that's based on 2 days and you lose a day,
That's half of that's
the track
But-
loses, generally speaking, unless they do some sort of a 2-show deal, race in the afternoon, like we've done at Batesville and
Batesville,
Super Nationals.
Nationals.
We've done some of that stuff. But unless you do some structure like that, you're losing 1 day of, essentially for the racetrack, you're
Revenue.
losing 1 day of revenue.
Yeah.
So to have a 1-day show that take a 2-day show and compact it into one,
pay
and
the
keep
and
the
pay the
purse-
advertised purse.
and
yeah.
keep the purse the same is a very bold move.
Yeah,
in
but
my
the one,
opinion.
the one thing there that you look as if we would have done it this way, what would that affect next year and
Sure.
the year after? So that was part of the decision is if we do this now, because there was Jim was there. There was grumbling. Drivers were like, "Oh man, we're not going to race for 10 grand." Or blah, blah, blah. It was just. They already had said you get half your entry fee back.
Was Johnny Whitman one of the guys
Well-
complaining?
No,
Oh, well, see.
no, he was happy.
He wasn't a traveler either. He was going to be there regardless.
But that's the thing, a lot of it
Well-
is like there were guys that had traveled and like, well, we came expecting, and the rebuttal was, well, we
Expecting rain?
We came expecting
Yeah.
a 2-day show too, but we're not getting it. So how do we do this? And then it was a last minute decision to pay the 10 grand, the full purse, and then at that point in time, folks like Appleton Camping Center in Appleton, Wisconsin said, well, hey, if you're going to pay that, we're going to pay this for the stock cars. So the stock
So
cars,
it ends up paying more.
yeah, stock cars ended up paying, what was it, like $2,500 to win. Sport mods was $1,750, and this was all just
a lot
like
of money.
last minute. There comes more money thrown in, and it was
Well,
crazy. And there was an
once the
extra
rain
$500 for the. It was $10,500 to win.
Yeah.
It's a lot
And
of
there were
money.
some big storms that came through, and once everything passed, then there was some touch and go there for a while. I think there was some concern that the dirt might have been contaminated from the storm,
Well,
but that was
when the
checked
water,
out.
When the water washed that off?
Well, not all the time.
If you have a lot of water, it'll flush the system.
I'm no dirt guy. I'm no dirt expert.
But no, it was.
Sometimes you can't shake that contamination.
Yeah, there were storms like and one of the deciding factors is on that deal. Could we have got heat races in? Could we have probably got the show in with the way they run a show at 141? Probably could have. But then now you're making the racers load up in the rain, load up in the storms. And then, Manitowoc County had actually called and said, you need to get the people out of there. You're going,
Well-
you're in the red. But,
Danger zone.
all of a sudden, then here comes Lake Michigan and the storm goes, and it was just a big heavy rainstorm with awesome lightning.
How
It
much
was
rain
great
did they get up there?
I think they had like a half inch or something. Wasn't much.
Well-
It was a lot in a little bit of time.
Timing was
Yes, timing was not impeccable.
Speaking of storms in Green Bay and in Wisconsin, I left Seymour one night with a tornado siren going off in town. which coincidentally, I think they've had some tornado damage up there here recently.
They had some damage and had to cancel last
I
Friday.
left the races one night with the sirens going and bolted out and got out, whatever the interstate is out there that we all come back down through, like Oshkosh.
41.
Yeah, I got on 41 and I got probably maybe 20 miles south of Seymour, and it was hailing like no tomorrow, and I sat under a bridge on the interstate with my wife, obviously, Virginia, and then Kennedy, who at the time I think was like 1 in the baby seat.
She didn't know.
And my wife was just madder than a hornet. I can't believe you put this through this situation. We're underneath a bridge. And I'm like, sorry, babe.
Don't they get bad weather in Texas?
Wife, happy life.
Don't they get hail in Texas? Wasn't she used to that?
Yeah, they get some nasty weather everywhere down there too. Yeah, especially. But she is kind of used to it, but usually it's not.
Speaking of Kennedy, she raised some money out here at the Speedway for the. I was watching that on the book.
Face painting.
The face painting.
Yeah. My wife asked me what I do for Father's Day, and so I'm like, well, to me, comfort is sitting in my basement and being alone.
Watching Star Wars.
Is that weird?
No.
Is that strange?
No, it's really not weird.
So instead of me getting my birthday or my Father's Day wish, we went boating. She wanted to go out and sit on the boat for a little while. We have a little flat bottom John boat. We go out on the cedar. No fishing. We just sat. We just floated.
Okay.
Floated in the sand pit. There's a rock quarry.
Spec part,
that a lot of people sit in. So we sat in sand pit for a few hours, and then they wanted to go to the races because Kennedy for some reason decided she wanted to face paint. So she was going to face paint at the races. So Virginia had bought her a face painting kit off of Amazon, and it came in the mail, a couple days prior to Father's Day. And so Kennedy, I went to the races. I didn't work. It's hard for me to go not to work, but I sat in the infield while Kennedy.
You were in the infield?
Yeah, I sat out there for most of the races. Well, until the features, and Kennedy was so tired from. She had like 30 or 40 kids. She raised $94. So anyhow, long story short, she wanted to raise money for the local animal shelter, Better Together. And so she face painted out at the races last weekend, Kennedy, and she's 11. She's a good kid. I don't know who she gets it from. It's surely not from me. So she went out and face painted.
We can confirm
free donations, and raised $94 for the local animal shelter. And they took the money down there last night and donated it. It was $94, and I was
that was a last minute thing too, wasn't it? Was that because Virginia texted me about 5:45, hot laps were going on. We're going to do some face painting.
Well, they wanted to go to the races, and I didn't. Okay. No offense, but right. I was like, well,
we've all been there.
It's Father's Day. I don't want to necessarily work if I don't have to, but Kennedy wanted to go out there, so I'm like, yeah, we'll go. So we went. We loaded everything up, and she took her little friend out there, and they went out and face painted. Raised $94 for the local animal shelter.
That's awesome.
Which was pretty cool. She had little kids asking her, "Are you going to be back next weekend?" I'm like, oh boy. But I think it wore her and her little friend out to Shane. They're both going to be in 6th grade, so they're, they. I don't think they anticipated painting as many faces as they did, but it was wildly popular, and it was a good gesture. I got to.
She might have gotten herself into trouble now. She's going to have to be back.
Yeah. Well, she ran out of paint. I mean, she had all kinds of little issues. She didn't get to eat. She couldn't take a bathroom break. I mean, we got there right when they started hot lapping, and she had the Sport Compact, the last feature at Vinton, was going on the racetrack, and
she was still down there.
She was still painting faces. Wow. She never left.
That's why you get there early.
When I went over there during intermission, she had about 20 kids surrounding her. That was just insane.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
That was Sunday night.
Yeah,
Sunday night.
You're gonna wash the paint off your face anytime, Ryan.
I didn't get my face painted, Jim.
Oh, sorry.
Wow. Anyhow,
you like the silver, do you?
So much that he put it on top of his head.
Yeah, a lot has happened. Well, a lot of races has happened since June 8th. You've been on the road. Jim's been on the road.
Yeah, 5,000 to win at Park Jefferson. That was a great. I mean, and if you didn't get to see it,
it's on IMCA TV.
I honestly, you go back and watch a replay.
Colby Fett, wasn't it?
Colby Fett, $5,000. It was.
I saw his post on Facebook. He posts. Colby Fett is one of those.
He's
ones
a good Facebooker.
He really is. He does post a lot of stuff. I'm one of his friends, and he knows better not to tag me. So generally, I will stay his friend on Facebook.
We're gonna tag Brett
at Brett Road.
How do I? Yeah, that's how I select my friends on Facebook. Tag me, and I'm out. But anyhow, so he posts some really good stuff. He really does. He's an active social.
He's a good kid.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Yep, him and his brother both raced.
Made the comment in the Victory Lane interview. I mean, I met those two when they started racing. At that time they were Hornets before we had Sport Compacts, and just to watch him mature as a driver through those divisions. Ran a Hornet, then can't remember if they ran a hobby stock or if they went right to the sport mod division.
To sport mod.
I think they went right to sport mods, and then
Yeah.
has come to find his own here lately, and that was
He's been fast for a couple
anybody
years.
in a sport mod. That would have been a big win Tuesday night.
Absolutely,
yeah,
a great field of sport mod drivers there. And,
Would you have 50
the
or
track
60
was
of
perfect.
47.
47.
Yeah,
The track was good, and the race was excellent.
Yeah, and we talked about it. It was a 103 degrees on Monday, and a south wind at 8,000 mile an hour. And Butch.
It was a blast furnace.
Yeah, Butch and Craig did. And Adam's staff did a great job of keeping the racetrack real racy all night, and even coming back for a 2-night show. That thing was perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. They did a fantastic job. The show ran great. No big issues, and I think everybody left happy for the most part.
It's always a plus. Hard to accomplish.
I left happy. You know why? I wasn't looking for Subway and came across a closed one.
Jim left happy and ended up mad.
Yeah,
I ended up mad.
Where did you stop? Did you find one on the way home?
I don't even remember. There was no Subway. I think I had to stop at a Come and Go and
Is this your food blog, Jim?
food blog.
This
Yeah,
is your food blog.
I need to bring that back.
Yeah.
He came to the office a couple days ago, and
Well, yeah, he said on the way to he kind of like went here to here to here to
There, back.
we went to lunch. We went to lunch when he was in town that day, and so I go get in his car, and he's moving his bag. He travels like I do to the races. It's like a office and your passenger seat. But he's like, oh, here's lunch, and it was like a little can of Chef Boyardee. The
mini ravioli.
The raviolis, the mini raviolis you put in the microwave, got the plastic lid.
Get
So
done with the
apparently-
races. You got to eat something.
Living the high life. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah.
I'm here to tell you what though. The other night I tried your Frito bean dip and things.
Gotta do scoops.
I did do scoops, but
Didn't agree with you?
Like hell the next morning.
Ah, it's good stuff.
I mean, I was just like, I woke up and I was like, man, I got gut ache here. And then,
But
then I walked out in the
The Fritos don't work. The little line. Little,
no, I had
gotta
the big
use the
scoops.
scoops.
You
ones
gotta
about
get
the
the
big as your
scoops.
finger. Yeah, because they break off in there, and then
Yeah.
you don't want to stick your finger in there.
Then
'cause
apparently I
it's a
didn't do
metal
the right
can.
one. It was supposed to be the jalapeno is the better.
Ooh.
So
Yeah, the jalapeno bean.
You didn't do jalapeno?
no,
And
I
you still
didn't,
had
and
a
I
gut
still
ache.
had gut ache. So
It's got a little spice to it.
I didn't do that on my
anyhow.
drive. I was getting prepped for 141 trip, and I didn't.
The high life of being a racing official.
Didn't want to.
Bean
do
dip
it.
and mini raviolis and
I've never tried the mini. How do you warm them up, Jim? Do you
Peanut
stop
butter
at a
sandwiches.
Do you stop
No,
at a
microwave in the hotel room.
That's what you said you were doing. Was it
Oh.
Friday night? Your races
Watching
rained
sports.
out
Yes.
up there, so you had to decide between your ravioli and was it lasagna? What was the other thing that you were going to eat?
Potato soup.
Potato
a can
soup.
Of potato soup.
Ooh, that sounds good, actually.
my daughter Kennedy eats those mini raviolis cold,
Oh, I can't do
What?
that cold.
Cold.
No.
and
Ugh.
she will not warm them up. Refuses to. She eats them cold
My
right
wife
out of the
eats
can.
SpaghettiOs.
I'm like, what are you
SpaghettiOs
doing?
cold.
Straight out of the can? Just, oh,
Yeah,
no.
she
I mean, I
doesn't
could
heat
do like
up
baked
any of
beans
that
straight
stuff.
out of the can, cold, but I couldn't do like SpaghettiOs or ravioli.
I don't even like pizza.
She likes it cold. I'm like, ugh.
Ooh, see a good cold pizza.
But anyhow.
I mean, I got Charlie Boys, so I was happy when I was in Sioux City.
And Johnny Whitman won 141.
Yep, Johnny Whitman won
Correct.
141.
Fett won the big race at Park Jefferson.
Yep.
Yep.
Benji Lacrosse got into the B&B. He's now an all-star
Oh.
B&B up by winning that stock car race.
Will he come back to Boone?
Why wouldn't he?
He hasn't been to Boone for quite a few years. I don't think he likes me.
Well,
I think we need a campaign. Bring Benji back.
Bring
Yes.
Benji back.
Big money Benji back to the Super Nationals.
Hashtag bring Benji
I'm
back.
gonna send Kennedy, my 11-year-old, up to 141 to face paint to bring Benji back. All
you go.
donations will
There
be
you go.
for Benji's return to the Super Nationals.
How long has it been since he's been there?
It's been a while.
You got the
And he-
stats.
I've
Get the
asked him
book.
about it.
You want me to get
I've
the
asked
book?
him about it. Why don't you come back? And he, Benji, we've talked about this. Benji's won a lot of big races.
Oh, yeah.
all over the place. And he works for a living. He's not a professional racer. So he he's very selective about where he goes. You know, he'll show up to the 9,000 Stars one year, and the next year he's in Batesville, and you know, one year he's in a stock car, and the next year he's in a modified.
Yeah.
Right. So but you know, where racers go and where they make how they make their decisions, it's individually obviously up to each individual racer. Benji's one of those guys that, you know, he's won the Super Nationals. It's not like winning it is easy.
He's won about every big race he's been.
He has.
And I think he should be qualified for the stock. Well, yeah, he got qualified off of the 50 grand win, and then he got qualified. You know, and now he's in for that.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I can't imagine he's not won 1,000 or better to win modified race since.
I would assume he's got that.
And Ryan, you went to the Hall of Fame night in Independence, rescheduled Hall of Fame night.
They had Darren Burko, Jerry Blue, Rick Wendling, and Dwayne Van Diest were inducted into the Hall of Fame up at Independence Saturday night. Always a good time up there. I love seeing the old guys come.
And all familiar names to IMCA Racing, obviously.
Yes.
You know,
Jerry Blue, longtime promoter. Up there, Independence.
He was there for 16
What was
years.
it? Was it Greater Iowa Racing?
Iowa Racing.
Yep.
And West Union.
I just remember that logo.
And West Union.
Promoted both those racetracks for many years. And he also promoted what I always thought was interesting, the races at the Jones County Fair.
Yep, he was he did that for many years.
Yeah, which is always a weird situation to me because, you know, the Jones County Fair around here is known for all the musical acts.
And there's some big concerts.
Big, huge concerts.
Cow.
If you want to go a big concert, you go to Jones County Fair.
Yeah.
Right? Well, they race in the morning around the stage.
Right.
Which is the craziest thing in the world to
me.
me.
That track is huge, though.
I know,
like
but
7,000 miles around.
I've announced the races there before, and you're standing down closer to turn 1 than you are anywhere else. But when the cars go down the back straightaway into turn 3 and 4, you hear nothing. It's quiet. I mean, they are so far away.
Isn't it almost like a 5/8 mile racetrack?
Something like that. They've got a baseball field in the infield. At least they used to. I don't know what all other things they have in there, but it is just enormous.
We haven't sanctioned that race much. We have, I think, a few times.
It's been a while. Yeah. It's been a while.
But yeah, Jerry Blue is very successful. Yeah,
I mean
as a promoter.
I was talking with the Hall of Fame committee up there.
And deserving of being in the Hall of Fame and independent.
Very much so. You know, a lot of the guys that they're inducting into the Hall of Fame up there raced for Jerry Blue back in the 80s and 90s, and it's like, you've got to get Jerry in this Hall of Fame. I mean, he's the reason a lot of these guys had a place to race on Saturday night. So he was thrilled Saturday night too.
Super nice.
And
guy.
Another thing, Saturday. Do you remember going to Independence when Jerry promoted and they sold Speed Wheels?
Speed Wheels, was that
the
like
cinnamon sugar disc?
I was going to say it was
fried?
Did Dan make some?
No, I got the recipe from Donna Blue. And I am not able to give that out. I can't sell it because I told her I wouldn't.
Can we make
sell
him for the podcast?
Can we make him? What do we need to make him for the podcast?
There's a lot that goes into it, but I have the recipe, so we'll have to do Speed Wheels sometime.
Yes, we will make.
They were awesome.
But you talk about that deal with them promoting the Jones County Fairgrounds. A lot of times, you know, as we've talked about this, how IMCA became what it is. Those fair races. You know, didn't, you know, someone didn't, it's not like if it's like a weekly track like the Jones County Fair, they didn't have somebody. So they would, you know, and I know this from doing stuff at Spencer before it became what it was. They put bids out. Hey, what would, you know, here's what we need you to do. Here's what it costs. Here's what we're going to pay you. Are you interested? So then that person, you know, like at Spencer for the longest time, it was always the Rubens out of Huset's. They come over from Sioux Falls to do the Spencer races during the Clay County Fair. Same thing here, you know, and it just opens it up to make those 1 or 2 day shows. It could be somebody from right in town or somebody from Independence putting on a big show.
It's always a big deal to win the fair race too. Yes. That's always
fair. I remember when fair races were huge.
Yeah.
When if you won the fair race out here or the fair race at Marshalltown or wherever it was a big. I mean, wow, yeah, I won the fair race or the state fair race. You know, for years. I mean, it was one of those places that I want to win there.
Yep. You know, it's so neat here. Last week, I got a bunch of emails from Alan Brown, who used to do the National Speedway Directory.
Oh, yeah.
And he's gone back and he has all the IMCA races with the winners and stuff like that from back from as far back as it goes. You know, right now I'm looking at the 1966 winner of the Iowa State Fair. It was Gordy Wade. But it's amazing, you know, the Spencer, Iowa, the Clay County Fair, you know, was having IMCA sprint car races back in the 50s.
Yeah, and those were national events.
Oh,
they
big
were.
time.
It was the who's who's of sprint car guys that raced IMC that barnstormed the circuit. That went. They went to Spencer. It was a September race. You went. You did the state fair. You did the Iowa
Nebraska
State Fair,
State
the
Fair,
Nebraska
then
State Fair,
Spencer.
the Minnesota State Fair. Then you went to Spencer, and usually Spencer from there it went down south, to Louisiana, and then back into those areas.
It's just, you look at the tracks, and there's a lot of the tracks that, are still racing now. Fargo, the Red River Valley Speedway. I wish I had the date right in front of me, but A.J. Foyt won an IMCA sprint car race there in the 60s. It was his first sprint car win ever. It's just amazing looking at the history. We got to get this stuff to Bill, and so he can publish some of this, because the job Alan did, he was going to libraries, getting the old microfiche and all that stuff. It's very, very impressive, and got to give him a big thank you for keeping the IMCA history alive. It's just fascinating. So,
Alan's a good guy. He's
great guy.
He's been doing it for a long time too.
I remember for years, every year you got a new Speedway directory.
That's moved
I
online now, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember the last year.
Speedway's
I know I've got a box of them at home.
I've got a bunch of them in my office yet.
When you walk in the front of the building, my mother's old office has got many years. That's where we put them when we got them. We always saved one. And
yeah.
See, there's I don't know how many of them there. 20, 25.
Probably.
There's a bunch
quite
of them.
a few.
Many years.
And you're looking back at some of this. I got one in front of me now from August 16th, 1961. It was a Wednesday night. The half-mile dirt oval at Kossuth County Fairgrounds.
Yep.
Jay Woodside won the feature.
It's crazy.
I don't remember that place being a half mile.
It was a big half mile. I've seen pictures of it. It actually ran, Jim. It ran to kind of where that museum is that they built now.
Yeah.
That was turn 3 and 4, and turn 1 and 2 went down to kind of just on the other side of that ravine, and then it ran right along. The backstretch ran right along Highway 169.
Wow.
Where the pit area is now was the racetrack in Algona.
Neat stuff.
For sure.
He says he has 4,300 IMCA sprint car races from 1915 to 1977 that he has the results for.
That's a lot of races for that time. That's a ton of results.
We got all the stock car races from 1949 to 1977.
So he researched all this stuff himself?
Correct.
And he's putting it in a book?
Or he's just emailing it to you?
I just got the email. I would assume he might have another book coming out. His books are fantastic. If anybody has a chance to, guys like Alan Brown, Bob Mays that works for Speedway Motors, has put together a couple of books of the history of the big cars back in the central United States. And it's just neat reading to see how we got to where we are now.
Things have changed a lot.
Things have changed.
They've changed a lot. I had a kid that when I was out at the races Sunday night, his name's Ben. When I was racing in 97, 98, 99, he would have been in middle school, but in the pictures that I have, Ben is usually, Ben is usually in my pictures with me. So he come over and sat down and, we were talking, and to me, it's just like flashbacks of, that's 25 years ago, and he's an adult, got kids of his own. He's an EMT. He was one of the EMTs. He come over. He was volunteering as an EMT or doing something with the EMT. But it just he said, so what's changed in the last 25 years? And I'm like, oh boy, well,
pull up a chair.
A lot has changed and a lot hasn't, is what I told him. And he said, there's probably a dimension for everything on these race cars now. I was like, yeah, everything is pretty controlled for the most part.
Yep.
So we try to control it, but you don't try to control it. You want things to change, but you don't want things to change. So, you look at the history of IMCA, you go back to 1915 and all that stuff. Alan Brown is documented, and all the different individuals that have raced in IMCA in the different divisions and the cars of their time up until now, and you have Hall of Fame night at Independence, and you got guys like Rick Wendling, and Darren Burko, which guys that I identify with when I was a younger race fan in the mid '90s. Rick Wendling was like one of the guys to beat in late models in this area.
I remember when he would come to the central part, whether it be, Boone or Marshalltown, for the summer series races. I mean, you watch that 78 car pulled in, and you knew that you knew
Deary
you had
Brother
something
racers for sure. Yeah. A lot of history there with guys like Darren Burko and Rick Wendling and the late model division in this area.
So did Darren get in it as a driver or
Oh,
a driver
he's the
promoter?
first, both a driver and a contributor.
Yeah. I think he's done a lot for that speedway.
He
promoted for a little while with
3 years. Todd Summers.
Todd Summers. I didn't talk to Todd for a long time.
He wasn't there Saturday, which kind of surprised me, but they
Last
did a
time we
lot
talked
of work.
to Todd, he was flying helicopters, believe it or
He
not.
flies. He is busy. He's always got something
very
going
active
on.
in the excavating business, I think, or something like that.
Yep.
But,
And he was a dirt guy. He is a dirt guy, but he would admit to you that he knew nothing about racetrack dirt and how racetrack dirt was affected on race night. He said, I am a self-proclaimed dirt professional, but racetrack dirt completely out of his realm when he started.
It's still different.
Yeah.
Maybe our next riding campaign, we got to get Benji to the Super Nationals. I think it's time to get #Ryan to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Ryan,
be in the Hall of
HOF.
Fame.
HOF question mark. HOF question.
Slow news day,
When are you
Jim.
going to make it to the Hall of Fame?
Slow news stage. Yeah.
No, well-deserved honor. We just got to make it happen.
And speaking of late models and speaking of the Deary series, I mentioned the Deary series just briefly. It's going to go into a couple different things I think I want to talk about.
Spin it around.
First and foremost, want to extend our sincere condolences to the Deary family on the passing of Jody Deary. The Deary family is, goes way back in dirt track racing and in pavement racing and all types of racing, really, to be quite honest. Over in the Rockford area, some NASCAR stuff. But, Brad Deary has been for years, was a huge contributor to our late model summer series program up until the day that we decided that we weren't going to be involved in the touring stuff anymore and came to the arrangement to sell it to Joe Kosiski. Hence, the SLMR East is what essentially was formed out of that. But first off, I do want to extend our condolences to the Deary family for the passing of Jody. She was still active over at the racetrack, and
She was mid-90s, I think.
yeah, 97. I thought I read.
That's late 90s.
That's late 90s.
But
Yeah.
to still be
Active,
involved,
that's
that's amazing.
Wow.
It is. We all have aging parents. Our parents.
Kennedy has it.
Yes.
Has an aging dad.
My
think
dad's
they just-
84. I
they
think he's
just-
84 now. My mom's almost 80. So,
Yeah.
the older your parents get, the more you appreciate them, I think.
Absolutely.
So, when they pass away.
And speaking of that, I think we also have condolences to Nikki Webb. She lost her mom.
Yes.
Yep.
Funeral was Monday, this past Monday, and once again, all our thoughts and prayers are with Nikki and John and the whole entire family as they go through that.
For sure. Life is short, very much so.
Yes.
And the older you get, the more you appreciate that it's short.
Yeah. And again, back on the SLMR a little bit, not so much, but kinda. We're gonna broadcast the essentially the fair race, which is
It
the
is.
Independence
It is, yes.
fair race, July 6th, Independence. They've got a 7,200 to win Denny Osborne Memorial, SLMR sanctioned late model event, running obviously the other IMCA sanctioned divisions that Independence runs weekly. So it's going to be broadcast on IMCA TV this year. So we are anticipating a pretty good field of race cars. Independence, for their fair, they have a concert now on Saturday night during their fair. So they move their weekly show to Wednesday.
Right. So that is your night to race.
That is
That's
the
weekly
night.
racing for their IMCA divisions as well. Points racing for modifieds. I
Correct.
think are they paying $1,000 to win?
I thought I read that.
I thought that's
Stock
what I saw,
cars
too.
are increased prize money
Yeah.
also, so it's going to be a big night. I don't remember how many late models were there last year. It was the inaugural Osborne Memorial last year, but they had a good field of cars. Jeff Ike won that, I believe. That was a really good night of racing.
7,200 to win will, obviously draw out a pretty stout field of what I would consider to be SLMR / IMCA kind of.
A lot of the regular guys will be there.
Late models. Yeah,
Weekly.
I think so.
They've got a swing going, so I know it's because they'll
Yep.
race up there. Then they come down and race with me on Thursday night.
But
for Daryl DeFrance's dad's race, the Dale DeFrance. So there's like 2 big memorial races that week for those guys.
Perfect.
Well, that will certainly be must watch television.
And you're talking about Denny. He was a big IMCA racer back in the day. Was track champion, Independence 75 and 89. He was Marshalltown track champion a couple of times, mid 80s and also 89. National champion in 1989. So he
Turned
was
some
one of those.
IMCA stuff, and then did a lot of non-IMCA racing. I think too during those time periods as well.
Yeah. And he was inducted into the Hall of Fame up in Independence a couple of years ago, I think, before he passed away.
Yep. And his son Brad raced for a while. He raced. I remember Brad racing a little bit of late model stuff, but more so probably the pavement
Hawkeye
stuff.
Downs
Hawkeye Downs.
stuff.
Now he's got
Is his grandson Colton? Is that Brad's kid? I think is racing an Indy car up
they
there.
race they race go-karts and stuff like that. And then they've got a late model again, and Jared Ballhagen's been piloting that car. So they're
Time flies.
They're still
Very
very much
involved.
involved.
Life goes on for those of us that still enjoy racing and can do other things. We have kids that race and grandkids that are racing. It's crazy. Sport recycles and keeps families together and keeps everybody's interests alike. All that fun stuff. So, what else? Dakota.
Okay, go
Wait.
ahead.
Actually, before we talk about the Dakota Tour, Jim had mentioned the Dakota Tour. We should probably talk a little bit about the Wild West Tour going on up in the Pacific
Correct,
Northwest.
up in Oregon
Yes,
right now.
up in Oregon.
One of the areas I've never been to.
I want to go there so bad. It's beautiful.
The furthest north I've ever been in that on the West Coast is Antioch.
Antioch.
I've been to Antioch, but I haven't been further. You get up into that Pacific Northwest, and you look at I was watching the Coos Bay race. It looks like they're racing in the forest. I mean it's
Cottage Grove, it's a ways out there once you get off the racetrack, but then it's the firs or the pine trees.
Yeah.
And it's just like just a beautiful setting up there. And it's been some good racing. I've had a chance to go back and watch some of the replays on the ride home the other night, and it was like
me too.
Yeah, I was like it's like wow. And it was good. I mean, it's been a good turnout, but that's a big thing for them up there. And
it is.
Yeah,
like I said, if you missed any of it, you can go back and get the replay pass. Or are they still tonight?
Tonight at
Thursday,
Willamette.
but they're racing.
Willamette tonight.
Yep.
Did they get last night's race in? Did they race?
They
last
had
night?
a party in the pits
That's
and
right.
practice last night.
It was
at
Coos Bay. It
Willamette.
was Jesse Williamson and Bryson James, I think, were the winners
Yep.
the first 2 nights at Coos Bay.
Yep.
And Dave Brin's up there. Dave made the trip over. For those that don't know, Dave lives in Kansas. He is West Kansas, I guess, is where he primarily is at.
He's almost to Colorado.
Yeah, he's 40 miles from the border.
Yeah.
So, for Dave to go anywhere, it's kind of hard. He's got to get to an airport if we're going to fly. And so Dave and I had the conversation just a couple of weeks ago. He's like, well, I'm going to go up to Oregon again he hadn't been there, I think, for maybe a handful of years.
1 year, yeah.
A couple years, 1 year. Hadn't been up there. So I'm like, what are you going to do? You going to fly up or are you going to drive? He goes, I think I'm going to drive. I'm like, why in the world are you driving?
He drove to Oregon?
He drove to Oregon.
Did he leave on Memorial Day?
He
A little before.
He left on May Day.
Dave isn't the
He
fastest traveler of ours.
He left from where was he? He left from
Point A to point B
from
with Dave is
here,
not a direct
Memorial
quick
Day
route.
weekend to
But I guess I wanted to mention that too, from the standpoint of obviously, for us to get guys like Dave and myself, Ryan, Jim, anybody who's going to races of any distance from where we live, it's as expensive as ever. And Dave really couldn't find a flight that was kind of worth a crap, and the connections weren't good. And flying west and flying back this direction is always, kind of a pain in the ass, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it is.
With the time change and everything else. And so he's like, I just think I'm going to drive it this year. And, and from a financial standpoint, it probably is about a wash for us. But Dave hasn't been up there. He wanted to take his own equipment. He wanted to be able to use, his cam doctor, and he wanted to be able to use the equipment that that he has that he can't necessarily travel with. You know what I mean? On an airplane.
Yeah, you can't
That's a
put,
little bit more challenging.
you can't put Super Dave's van in an airplane.
Right.
I mean, you could. You get like a cargo plane.
He flew out last year. He flew to California for half of the California Speed Week. I flew out for the first half. He went the last half. And neither one of us really had much for equipment. You know, you can take a tape measure and a magnet and a rule book. Yeah, and do some real basic stuff. But it's nice to have Dave going into those areas, especially that area in the Pacific Northwest, because I think that, you know, you go back a handful of years and they weren't sanctioned by us, you know, and now that they are, you know, it's important for us to try to be to some of those places, and it's tough for us to get there. It's expensive for us to get there, but in my opinion, it's part of what we budget as, you know, why racers pay for memberships, you know, so we can make those kinds of trips and send a guy that like Dave out there, you know. So Dave's out there. I talked to him yesterday. He said he didn't have any DQs, you know, which you know, I think is a positive.
It's a good thing.
That's
If
very
you
good
get
for
a
place
DQ
that
from
doesn't
Super
normally
Dave,
run them. I mean, that's
Right.
If you get a DQ from Super Dave, you've done something pretty wrong.
Correct. It's not like
He's
not
going to help you
looking.
the first time. Like I
Right.
said, it's the educate and regulate. It's not the gotcha.
Correct.
You know, it's hey, take this.
Well, and once again, a big thank you to Jerry Schramm and all the tracks out there. But, you know, Jerry kind of made the leap of faith and brought IMC out there. You know, what is it? Probably been 6 years ago, maybe 7.
Yeah, it's
Time
been around,
flies.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think he's been very happy with it. We certainly have. We've got
He's a character.
but you know, that's
got
putting it mildly.
He's got a pretty unique personality. He's a good guy. You know, he comes
He's a
out to
great
Iowa,
guy.
buys race cars, comes out here and buys race cars. He's got some health issues too, so hopefully his health is getting better. You know, I mean, things
And
like those.
you know,
like that is
once
important.
again, Jerry Schramm is great for racing. His brother Jimmy, you know, they've got a couple tracks they you know have, and they just sold Willamette. But you know what Jerry's done to get us, you know, now we stretch from Oregon, the southern part of Oregon, all the way up to Skagit Speedway, who we brought on this year. So we kind of connected the dots and got them all.
And when he came on a few years ago, that was for the modifieds. Now there's sport mod racing out there. Stock
Stock
cars are
cars.
becoming a thing out there now. So
Yeah, I
they're
mean,
really
like you
expanding.
said, you know, I know guys from Oregon that have come to Iowa to buy stock cars.
Right.
Yeah.
From California that have come to buy
We
stock
had,
cars.
I think we had an Oregon driver at Super Nationals last year in a stock car, or maybe 2 years
Well,
ago.
We
So-
got
Colin
we got the Oregon
Yeah.
driver out here now racing.
Right,
You know,
right, and a
Dylan
modified.
Solom.
Yeah.
You know, he's racing a stock car out here with us off and on when he can get back.
I think it was last year. Jerry came out and picked up a car, and he was in West Union at Rage.
Oh, yeah.
where they
Mhm.
build Rage cars. I think he has a Rage stock car and maybe a Rage modified.
I think he's got 4 Rage stock cars.
He's got
and
enough
5
race
Rages
cars.
modified.
He's got a fleet.
He's got enough race car to have in
He's
his
got
own
enough.
show, right?
Yeah, he's got. He could be his own
told
show
me the reason he does that is he hates washing cars after races.
for changing
So
gears.
it's easier for him just to get a new car than wash it. They're kind of like throwaways.
Since we won't put a quick change in the stock car, Jerry's just going to buy one with every gear ratio
This
in
gear's
it.
for here, this car's for here, and that one's for there.
He's just going to take the car. He's going to change the gear. It's too hard.
But,
it's a pain in
you know,
his ass.
once again, as good of a guy as Jerry is, I can tell you one thing. He's a very, very good racer, but I can tell you one thing he's not really good at: driving a boat.
Yeah.
How do you live in the Pacific Northwest and
No,
not be good
yeah.
at driving a boat?
Well, you
happens.
think you would know where the sandbars are, and we'll leave it at that. I had a boat trip with Jerry that turned into a swimming trip with Jerry.
Did it ruin your phone?
No, luckily I left the phone in the boat.
Not in your
But,
pocket.
Yeah.
So moving on, Dakota Tour. We got the Dakota Tour coming up.
Yeah.
It's a couple of weeks. We'll probably have another podcast before we get super serious about Dakota Tour stuff. But you know, the
Just remember,
Dakota
it's on
Tour
IMCA TV this
is
year.
on IMCA TV this year.
Does it start the 9th? When does that start?
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
has
the
to
ninth.
start
Saturday the 9th.
Saturday of the 9th.
Saturday the 9th. Yep,
James
runs that
Sound.
week.
Yep.
2 nights in Mandan this year, right? The last two.
Yes, I
I
believe
think it's
there's.
Mandan,
I
right?
believe so. Here,
Yeah,
we'll-
right. John Gardner does an excellent job with the tour. Grant Osvig's going up to flag the tour this year. Carson, I know, is going to attend. Dave, again, plans on attending. So we're going to send the arsenal of IMCA staff members up there to do the best we can to administer the tour again, the Dakota Tour. Be as involved as we can be, and as involved as John Gardner wants us to be. So, he's done a fantastic job with that tour, and they're doing the promos. Got to think, I don't know if Byron Fichter is doing the promos. I think he is.
I think he is, yeah.
For those that don't know, this is kind of an interesting information because people see this and they're pretty wildly popular on social media. Byron Fichter does the Super Nationals Boonbound stuff.
Yeah.
He was the originator of the going on the tour for the Dakota Tour, which kind of started the whole process of racers pre-entering and us using
their pre-entry to give us
their pre-entry to promote them attending. It's just a very cool promotion, and Byron Fichter has been involved pretty much from the inception of that for us, and it's good to have his assistance too on the tour this year. And obviously, I think he's planning on helping us with Super Nationals again, and I'm sure he's a creative, crazy dude. He does,
and he's got a great logo.
Cool shit.
He does Byron. I tell you, cool and Byron doesn't only shoot racing stuff. I mean, some of his other stuff that he shoots up there, and I mean, you don't realize how beautiful
he puts
Estevan
in like art shows and museums and
He's
stuff.
got his own art. He's got his own. He owns his own place.
Yeah,
his own art place. But yeah, he's
taken some pictures that are some I don't know if it's like a scenic picture or if it was an animal picture. That are extremely, extremely popular that he sells.
Now there's this old church up in Estevan somewhere that it sits out in the middle of nowhere, and some of the sunset pictures he's had. I know when we were in Yuma for the Winter Nationals, that break between, he took off. We didn't see him for Nate? We didn't see him for a couple days. He went out in the desert and just started taking pictures, and just beautiful work.
It takes
Byron Fichter photography.
He's very talented.
That's with an F.
BFF.
BFF, because photography is with an F.
Did you know? Speaking of sunsets, did you know that like this starting today? Is today the 3rd?
No, yesterday was.
Yesterday was the longest day.
Yeah.
The solstice stuff.
Hey, do you have a picture of that sunset?
I thought it was today.
Is that the one that
starting today for the next week?
No.
So you can see 5 planets.
Oh, really?
See, this is on the summer solstice, and that was I tell you, that was a beautiful sunset.
There's only one thing wrong with that picture.
Yeah, what the hell's Jim in that picture for?
Well, I wanted everybody to, I was like I could do my Steve Irwin. There he is in his natural state of standing around and doing nothing.
He actually looks like he's even smiling.
No, he was glared. He was glared at this person
squinting.
coming from the concession stand with a hot dog or something.
He was looking for the nearest subway.
Yeah, he actually was.
let the truth be told.
It's over there.
I think I was waiting for the hobby stock fight to break out in the pits at that exact moment.
When was this? Park
That was Tuesday night. That was summer solstice, the longest day of the year.
Yeah, so the planets are aligning.
That means we're in trouble this weekend.
You can see 5 planets from today
for
the next week. You can see 5 planets. They say there's going to be a crescent moon, and off the crescent moon you can locate Mercury and Jupiter or something like that.
It's and then you think they're a star, but they're actually
planets. And then you can see 3 other planets. I think with binoculars, I think they said you don't necessarily have to have a telescope, but if you know what you're looking for, and they said it hasn't happened since 1864 or some weird thing like that.
And if you don't know what you're looking for,
if you're an astrology person, apparently it's a pretty cool deal. Really?
Yeah. I never thought I'd get an astrology lesson.
I can turn my phone into a microscope.
What you do is there's actually, because I've got it on my phone, you can actually, and it'll help you find Orion and the belt,
Orion's
the Little
belt.
Dipper, the Big Dipper. But
Ryan's right there.
We got Ryan's belt right here.
Where's your belt, Ryan?
I think Orion's only visible in the winter months. I don't think you can't see it year round.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
And right now you don't see it this time of year.
Yep.
I think it's winter
that's
months.
what's so interesting about this podcast. A lot of people think all we do is make fun of other sanctioning bodies and tracks, but here we are. It's Mr. Science giving us a little lesson here on
Bill Nye.
on the planet. Bill Nye, the science guy. Brett Root, the science guy.
Do you have more pictures to put up there, Nate?
I occasionally read.
Jerry with his amateur photography.
I usually
Jim. That was
holy cow!
Look at them 2 kids.
Holy cow! That is old.
Good Lord.
18. That picture 18 years ago.
2004.
Let's just be honest.
You look pissed off in
Put
that
picture back up.
Yeah, put
Let's
it back
just be
up.
honest for
let
a
people
second.
see this.
Let's just be honest for a second. what in the hell is my wife thinking? Look
Well,
at how
she's
pretty
smiling
she
and
is.
she's next to you.
Exactly. Look at how pretty she is, and I'm not.
Well, actually, the thought process in your mind is
I have
like,
a perfectly,
So you'd have been in your
I have a
early
perfectly
30s
good
there?
head of hair, and I shave it. I'm like, what was I thinking in those days? Plus, I look like I just ate a box of donuts. I mean,
He certainly
good Lord.
suns out, guns out.
Suns out, guns out. Yeah.
So this is 18 years ago.
I mean,
So
she
It's been
looks
a while.
excited to be with you, and you're just like,
I'm trying to figure out where that picture was. I bet you if I
He's
asked
actually-
that's when she was still smiling
He's
because that was
actually-
you
early
could tell
in the
me where that
relationship.
picture was. I can't.
Man,
I
they're
probably
really-
still have that shirt, though. It's probably in my closet.
I think
Hey,
you wore it to
Probably.
work yesterday.
You want me to bring
wore
it?
it to the office.
The next podcast, I could probably wear it.
You're
Okay.
32
Guns out.
years old.
Suns out,
Man.
guns out.
You just have that look of like, I hope I can make this last. I've outkicked my coverage.
That ain't no joke. I don't know what she's thinking.
And then after that picture, like years later, here comes this picture. Nate, did you get the next picture that I sent you? All right.
Oh,
he's got it.
Need
Nate's
to have a
ready.
production meeting before. the
Well, I was
Thank
on the
goodness. Can I see
I
this
was on the
picture?
fly with like all of our shows. It was on the fly. So when I see it pop up there, we'll talk about.
You were talking about Byron and the Boonbound and stuff before I forget about it. We are going to open
then-
Super Nationals
Then we have
registration in the
Jerry
next
and
week or
Ryan
two.
suns
Yeah,
out,
we are.
guns out picture.
Yeah.
What?
Cool. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Ryan and Jerry.
Oh,
Ryan and
oh,
Jerry
oh,
suns out, guns out.
Yeah.
Really?
Ryan and Jim.
Yeah.
Really, Jim? Are you Beavis or are you Butthead, Jerry?
I don't know. I need TB from my phone.
Yeah,
I
Ryan.
have corn oil.
In between the Beavis and Butthead jokes, let's talk about Super Nationals.
Oh yeah, is
we
there
are
a logo
gonna-
or something?
Oh,
We
yeah,
are
we're going
gonna
to talk
open up-
about that.
We're going to talk about the logo.
We got to talk about the logo because I want to defend myself.
Okay,
I'm gonna try to
can you put
defend
the logo
myself.
up?
You know,
Do
So
you have the logo?
Super Nationals.
Okay, it's coming.
Camping has opened for Super Nationals. Just so everybody knows this. Camping opened up, I think, for, Monday of this week. So if you're looking for a camping stall at the Super Nationals, that has opened. So
Is
you
your
can-
camping
you can-
stall the same spot still?
You can call Jim Majors, who's
I
in
need to
head of
guess.
camping at Super Nationals, and get your camping stall reserved. We did shuffle around a little stuff this year in the camping stuff. Not-
Staff camping going to be the same?
Stat,
because
yeah.
Yeah, yours is right down by the shower house, so you can
Number
listen
4.
to the people come to and fro.
What is wrong? What is wrong with
I
this
think
logo?
that is a fantastic logo.
You're creating your own language, Brett. I had 4 people ask me at the races out here Sunday night who created our logo. I said, I don't know. I'm not on the logo design committee.
I think it's a fantastic
It looks
logo.
nice.
looks
Jerry,
nice.
do you see what's wrong with it?
See, I'm not the only one.
I know.
So there's other people that have my education
It's not that, I mean,
in the world.
I mean, I guess I'm not sure what I mean,
I don't know what you're looking
Yeah.
at.
the
pretty.
only thing the only thing I mean, Nationals is spelled right, correct?
Everything's
Yeah.
spelled right.
I mean,
nothing spelled
you remember
wrong.
Super
The
Bowl
logos
40?
are correct.
You remember what they nicknamed Super Bowl 40? Super Bowl XL, Super Bowl Extra Large.
Oh yeah, I see. That was the only thing I could think of is the only thing that's off is the Roman numerals.
Yeah, the Roman numerals.
Correct.
So it's XL.
It should be XL. It
So
should not
are we
be 4
fixing that
Xs.
or?
No,
No, I think we need to leave it 4 X's, and that
It's
kind
unique
of
to
talks
us.
about
that's
the
unique to us.
the post race activities.
Yeah, like the apparently the methanol moonshine stage is coming back.
It is.
Slushies and
Do we have a DJ lined up, Jerry?
yes, I do. I have a
Is
DJ.
it the same
lineup.
one?
No, it is not the
It's
same.
not the
It's the
same
same.
one?
It's the
It's not
same
Andy?
group. It is Andy. Andy apparently has had to go get a real job. Apparently, I don't know.
He can't take.
He's a meat market.
Doesn't
man
he
now.
get time off?
No, Otto won't let him have any time off. But but we do have a very good fill-in coming for him, so it will be.
Nobody can match Andy's talent. So
I don't know.
It's just like-
his sister does a very good job.
Is this privileged information you can't release or
Becca.
reveal? Oh, okay.
It's still keeping it the 141
All
Retychek family, but
Okay.
it's going to be Becca. Rebecca's coming down to spin the records, and
We're going to try to do that the same this year. Keep the stage down there by registration.
yeah.
That worked very well last
a lot-
year.
I thought it did too.
I thought that was
Again,
awesome.
a lot of things aren't going to change about the Super Nationals. We are going to change some things. I think we ran our first story in the newsletter here a couple days ago, last week. And we hadn't really made any announcements about changing anything, but I think we're going to. I think we're going to.
Brett, you made
What?
an announcement.
I made an announcement.
a few episodes back on the podcast.
Oh yeah, 40,000.
Yeah, 40. Yeah. How's that coming along? Hey, get Carson on the phone. How's Carson's?
Breaking news. Let's hear it now.
We're taking donations. If you'd like it to pay 40,000, please send me a check.
We could start a GoFundMe.
GoFundMe. There you go.
Yeah.
That's an idea.
But how much out of that
we do
GoFundMe
that?
do you actually have to get for it to offset what they get?
What they get.
What about?
A fan-driven purse.
Fan-driven
They've done some of
purse,
that
yeah.
stuff. I don't know. I think that's a little bit like begging. I don't know if
I don't know. What
necessarily
about
like that idea.
what
It's
about
kinda
trying to
cool,
get people to
but-
kick in?
Huh? What?
What if we try to get some racers fans to kick in? There's some people down south that are willing to throw money at
Just,
purses. Maybe we can.
just send checks. Lots of checks.
Yes.
$40,000 is a lot of money.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a lot of money.
Make it payable to Jerry or Ryan or Beavis and Butthead.
I don't care as long as we can cash them. We're okay.
Anyway.
But back to let's get back to some serious stuff.
Yeah.
So Super Nationals, we are talking about moving our Race of Champions for our hobby stocks and our sport mods off of Saturday night's program for a couple reasons. One, a guy who may qualify for that and be out of state, and not make the A main for hobby stocks or sport mods, which is also on Saturday.
Yeah.
He's essentially sticking around 5 days just to run 10 laps. And we've had an issue in the past where some guys haven't done that. They make it and they're like, yeah, I'm still going home. So they don't, they make the Race of Champions. So I think that it might make a little bit more sense, be more prudent of us to move those two events, the Race of Champions for hobby stocks and the Race of Champions for sport mods, a little earlier in the week. Mix them in perhaps on,
Wednesday or something.
well, Thursday, Tuesday or Wednesday night when they're there.
Their prelude is Sunday. They start qualifying
Correct.
Monday, Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So if you keep
Last
it all
chaff races on
Wednesday.
Wednesday. So if
So
we
like
maybe
run,
did
like
some,
run the heat races for the Race of Champions on Monday,
yep,
and then have it on Tuesday.
yeah,
one on Monday
in the
and one on
past,
Tuesday.
in the past we've done, like for modifieds and stock cars, we've kind of did them different nights.
Yeah.
Our qualifying format for the ROCs, and I think we would do like that. Maybe do like the hobby stock ROC heats on Monday and the sport mod ROCs on Tuesday.
Whichever one has one qualifying feature, you can run their
Correct.
heat race. And
Because we get into the conflict where you've got too many races and you got guys in different event or in different, they're in A mains and they don't want to tear their car up for a ROC heat, and we have the same issue potentially on Saturday nights where they're in an A main and they don't want to run the ROC because they're on the pole of the Super Nationals. So we get into all those dynamics a little bit that we try to juggle around and still make it make sense. And we have racers that say, I don't really want to do the ROC because I don't want to risk my car. Because we don't let them have a ROC car. Or they have to have the same car, so they can't have specific cars. We have guys tear them up. We had that. We showed the kid flipping for. He was
Travis Barker.
Yeah, wasn't he? He was impacted by that crash. He was qualified for something.
Yeah, he was in the race. He was in the Race of Champions.
Yeah, and couldn't.
But then got destroyed or damaged the car in the All-Star race, and that knocked him out. I mean, it did, but it didn't. He had people that wanted to let him have a car, but he didn't.
And we told him he could run a different car.
We did. We make exceptions. The EIRI rule, which means we make up shit if we have to.
Always works for me.
Yeah.
EIRI. Okay. Nate says, wrap it up. We've been talking.
So we're closing. And he
So
didn't say
anyway,
we're
back
quite
to Super National. So I think we're going to move the ROCs forward. But one of the reasonings for doing that is so we can accommodate our stock car division a little better on Saturday night. I would really like to do driver introductions out of cars for stock cars. We've got, obviously methanol moonshine.
Stock cars are getting a bottle this year.
Stock cars are getting a bottle this year. They're getting a unique I-qualified bottle. It has the position that they're starting to feature in. Our modified guys got them last year, and our stock car guys are getting them this year. So we have two divisions we're going to get those bottles to. And I think the best way to present that is during driver introductions. But we can't just keep loading up Saturday night with more things, and I think it makes a little bit more sense to move the ROCs for those other two divisions a little closer to their qualifying nights in case a guy makes the ROC, runs the ROC, he can go home if he doesn't make the A main for that.
Or
day.
if he
have to stick
doesn't,
around for
he
4
now
days.
if they were planning on sticking around, now they just get to relax and
they can
enjoy it.
Yeah,
And it
you're
could
always
free up the pits too if you got guys coming in the mods and the stock cars later
Correct.
in the week. I mean, there are
There's a lot
So many
positives.
logistics. I mean,
So many
A lot of moving
positives
parts.
to
yeah,
it,
there's
yeah.
so many things that happen.
lot of moving
there.
parts.
You know,
But the stop-
before Nate pulls the plug on us, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we're talking about stock cars. I believe, I could be mistaken, there's a stock car race coming up Saturday night.
Oh yeah,
Oh, there is.
$2,500 to win the King of the Catwalks.
King of the Catwalks. What an awesome event name.
I mean,
I
know,
think
because
that's
Boone
pretty
is
cool.
the King of the Catwalks.
What-
I mean,
Exactly.
there's more
I-
catwalk there than there is in.
It plays
like-
a little
think-
bit off the King of the Creek and the Clash at the Creek and stuff like that, which I think is great names for 141. But I think King of the Catwalks is pretty damn
Did
cool.
you come up with that, Jim?
I think Jim made that.
No,
up. You made that
you know,
up, Jim? I didn't
it-
make that up.
I thought it was
I don't
originally going to start as like the Bacon Buster or something, because Todd Van
Well-
Eaton and
Todd.
Van Eaton Pork and his sister, his sister's got
Fox
Fox
Welding.
Welding.
Fox
and
Welding,
they're a
which
big-
makes
they-
catwalks.
which make
They
yeah.
put catwalks up all over the Midwest.
Yeah, they do.
I mean,
So-
all that new
you
catwalking
guys-
at Stewart, that was all put up by Fox Welding.
exactly.
You need a catwalk, you call Fox
You need a
Welding.
cat-
Fox
you need a
Welding.
catwalk.
and Vermeer.
I was thinking of putting
Yeah,
one in.
Vermeer, of course.
And
they sell.
again, we have to thank Todd Van Eaton, who's a stock car member, stock car racer, very passionate racer. In my opinion,
exactly.
he's like always on he's like wired all the time.
He's a blue yummy connoisseur.
He
too,
is.
isn't he?
Yes,
Yeah.
he does. He does enjoy
So
his Busch
it's-
lattes and his Marlboro Reds.
It's pretty.
He's a-
It's pretty cool to have Todd involved in this, and hopefully it becomes an annual thing for Boone Speedway. I mean, that's at the end of the day, I think that's the goal. Is for the Super Nationals is Boone Speedway. Boone Speedway is the Super Nationals. But I think sometimes the weekly racing at Boone gets a little overshadowed by that, and I think some of the racers, the quality of the racers that are at Boone Speedway racing weekly, gets overshadowed a little bit by the Super Nationals at times. So they've done their Super Saturdays. Where
Super Saturdays where it's been paid. One division pays $1,000 this week, and then we do some King of the Hills and things like that. That some sponsors put some extra money up and things for.
You go back a couple of years.
What's the entry fee for that event? Does anybody know off the top of their head? Entry fee.
That would be $0.
What? Huh?
$0.
That's
Zero.
crazy talk.
Show up,
I
buy
know.
a pit pass, and go
Well,
racing.
look,
I know. We get.
Let me get this
I know
straight.
we don't do much for the racers.
So you're telling me that for a $25 pit pass, you can race for $2,500 on Saturday in an IMCA.
Yeah.
And not have to drive either. It's not
Not have
like
to
you
drive 332 miles.
That's know what?
can
Hats
stay
off to
close
you,
to
Brett,
home.
for
Ooh,
thinking.
are you gonna get your
thinking
stock
of the
car? Are you
racers.
getting your stock car ready for that race?
Okay.
Hell no.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
I'm not going to embarrass
He owns a
myself.
sanctioning body.
You
How
have to
can
be
he
half-
race a stock car?
Let's just look at this objectively. Even if I could race okay, I'd have to be half stupid to want to take a stock car to Boone Speedway for a race like that and even try to make the race.
Because there's
for
going
the
to be
first
like
time.
a lot of them.
Well, they had 39 last week.
Oh yeah,
weekly.
we get 40 for a weekly show. What are we gonna? I mean, my number's 6. My number's like 55 or 60.
It'd be nice to
Brett,
see 50.
Why would
but-
you want to take money away from your customers, the stock car racers that IMCA has? Why would you want to take the money from them?
I don't.
And he wouldn't. He doesn't have the talent to compete.
No.
at that
That's just
level.
it. I wouldn't be.
You're going to be taking tow money
What's
away
tow
from your
money?
drivers.
What's tow money? I might get that.
Yeah.
But at least you wouldn't have to pay an entry fee.
Hey,
Yeah, what-
That's
in
true.
defense of me,
Go ahead,
I
caller.
have raced at Boone Speedway once.
Oh,
What?
is there a story here too?
there a story
Was
here,
there
too?
a car
It's a
left at the
true
end of the
story.
night?
I actually took that.
Why are you pointing angrily
Because-
at
Who was,
me?
who was the gas man in your two-man cruiser?
No, it wasn't a Truman Cruiser. I took that hot rod right back here on the wall,
you
down
raced-
there on the wall. I took that to Boone Speedway. I got 5th with it when I
You
raced
raced
that
Jimmy's
night.
car?
I was,
You raced Jimmy Gustin's car?
no, I'm not as cool as Jimmy.
Oh, that.
I raced that
Oh,
hot
that-
rod.
Oh, down.
That
The old
non.
one sport mod down there. I raced that at Boone Speedway once, and I got 5th place,
Was that like in
which was a win for me because I was racing for 5th.
2007 when there were like
There
6
was
cars.
3 cars there.
I'm gonna claim my motor. No, I'm just kidding. I had to crate in there so nobody could claim it. So
Remind us again where that car's at. I wanna
that
go
car
see.
is
It's
I wanna go see if
up
we
in
can-
Butler County somewhere.
no, it was
In a wall.
I left parts
Yeah,
of it in Butler County.
if you're a fishing connoisseur, it's usually the weights that you put on your line.
Yeah, that car is toast.
Yes.
But anyhow, so no, I'm not taking my stock car. I don't need to. Why would I want to stink up that show, for crying out loud? Yeah. It's going to be a great race.
That's this weekend?
That's
this weekend.
and it's on IMCA TV.
Saturday.
I might be there the second.
2,500 to win. Got to thank again Todd Van Eaton with Van Eaton Pork and obviously Fox Welding and Vermeer for their support of the event too as well. So it takes people like that for things like this to kind of happen. You know, I mean, it's going to be a good race.
It's going to be awesome. We'll have all our divisions there that night. Every weekly division, the mod lights, mod lights, hobby stock cars, sport mods. Modifieds.
One more time,
And
Jerry.
cruisers.
The entry fee for the stock car race is
0.
Take that picture down, Jim.
2,500 to win, 250 to start the A main. I think the
see
It's
total's
a
100.
$14,000 one night. $14,000
It's
purse.
just really nice. It's really nice that somebody in the state of Iowa could put up that kind of purse for stock car racers on a one-day show. You know, it just takes a really rare individual to do that and not have an entry fee.
That's a lot of money for a one-day show.
It is. It's $14,000 purse.
Yeah, it probably doesn't make any sense, but it makes sense. It's fun.
But
it's gonna be a great race.
when you got somebody who said, I mean, I look at,
Hey, we could give them a too bad we didn't have a special King of the Katwalks bottle of moonshine. Where's Wade?
I don't know if we can get that rousted up real quick, but
I could make a fake label and put it on that one.
But no, like you said, we're going to do stock. That was another Super Nationals thing that was released. You know, we'll do stock car. You know, there'll be a customer bottle. You know, you'll be able to buy a modified and a stock car bottle this year. And
pretty
as
cool.
you said, starting lineup guys getting that, and everybody's getting back to that. You know, everybody. Well, how come you guys don't do starting lineups for the stock cars, or how come you don't this? And a lot of it is timing. But like you said, now that if you can move things around and make things work,
We'll have driver introductions and slushies for everybody.
Ooh,
I like the slushies.
And you were talking about stories
No,
before?
after at the moonshine.
That should be on the new expanded
Be on the
announcers
stage.
booth. We should
we
have
should
a
have
slushy
a slushy
center.
machine right behind us.
We should have slushy machine on the stage for the top 4.
Hey,
Yeah,
you
you
know
should
we
do
haven't
that.
talked about it.
Slushies during the auction.
That's okay. We can do that.
I mean, slushies for everyone.
Napa.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think so. Napa Fan Zone.
Yeah,
The Napa
We've been working
things.
on that. Going to be cool this year.
and Napa Auto Parts coming on pretty big for Super Nationals this year.
A lot of news has started to come out. I know that Bill has written a number of press releases for that. They are all available in the same convenient location at imca.com. I don't know if you can go there or not.
I think it's
Nate,
the
but
Super Nationals
if you
tab,
go
and
to-
then you click it.
Go to
and
the
it
Super
goes-
Nationals tab and it
Super
gives you the
Nationals.
drop-down menu. So anything
pick
you
press
want.
releases. Press
Yeah.
releases will get you all the latest stories, and there's entry, there's past champions, there's camping, there's everything.
It's all there.
There it is on the drop-down
We're
menu.
trying to update it as we go.
Cornhole tournament, we're having that again this year also.
yes.
Are we having 2 days of cornhole?
At least 2, maybe more.
What about axe throwing? Can we have axe throwing?
I have that in my office.
Go back up to the press releases one, Nate, and then if you go under Super Nationals, scroll down to press releases. As stories are coming out, you'll see them on Facebook. They are also posted here. Everything Super Nationals related will be posted there.
And we have the private Super Nationals group as well. If you
On Facebook,
if
yeah.
you're a social media person and you want it on your phone, we have a private group for the Super Nationals.
And everything is posted. We try to post everything there also.
Yep, you have to request to be invited to be let in.
Yeah, you have to get
The gatekeeper. I don't know who's in charge of that. It depends on the day, but and that too is something we use. We use that page primarily for the event stuff, like on the fly event stuff, which seems to work good. So anybody who's at the Super Nationals that wants to know what's going on that day,
Right.
a lot of times people will ask questions on that Facebook page, and other fans or other people on the page will answer it. You know.
I
And
think
what's
what people
great
most
about
look
that-
forward to is when you interact.
When
People
I
really,
interact.
People
really
like it
appreciate
when you get on
and
there.
enjoy
Like,
that.
oh,
They
here's
do.
Brett. He's gonna say something.
I can be such a smart ass though. I mean, honestly.
Sometimes you have to be.
Really?
Sometimes
you always struck
I-
me as a dumbass.
that too, but yeah. I mean, sometimes I am. Sometimes I'm
I'm gonna go
sarcastic.
clean my
sometimes
desk
I'm
out.
not.
You want to help me?
I try to
Jerry?
be sincere in
I need
most
help
of the stuff
today's
that I
track.
post. You know,
No, it's very
maybe
informative.
we could do a show about Brett's Facebook posts.
Brad, no, we're not.
The history of
I could
history
never.
of-
I could never run for public office because they'd be like, "What in the world were you thinking?"
No, actually,
you wrote
could.
this.
Actually, you could.
you'd fit right in.
You'd fit right in some days.
I had a guy tell me one time, "You sound just like a politician." And I was like, I don't know if that's a compliment or
No,
not.
I don't
think it meant it.
I think that, yeah, I think in that situation when they with the voice inflection that you gave, you're just like a
Wasn't a
politician.
compliment.
I think that was like the guy who sits at his computer and goes.
But I've also had people tell me,
You look
would
like a politician.
You would make a good politician.
See, now that
And I'm like, no.
see, that's a backhanded compliment.
It's like people that are, Tammy in our front office, our receptionist, Tammy is on city council here in town in Benton. And I tell her she's crazy. I'm like, why do you want to put up with that punishment? But she's very good for our community and very level-headed and
she's a voice of reason. And,
absolute voice of reason. And
So
then,
she's actually good, not only good for the city of Benton, but good for all the members of IMCA.
strolled-
too.
She's good to be outside of Brett's office because she can de-escalate.
Yeah, I stroll into the office with a
buffer
bunch
zone.
of drinking
Yes.
a bunch of coffee at 8 a.m. and
Coffee, and remember that one episode we had where he was
like
all
the-
jacked up on.
Yeah, he
clash of two worlds. Tammy's perspective and then mine. But
Jim,
anyway,
we just got some breaking news.
I wouldn't make a good politician.
Oh,
my gosh!
Jim,
An hour and 10
breaking
minutes.
news, breaking news.
I'm getting there, Jerry. I'm getting there.
Oh my goodness. No, that's not
That's not
breaking
breaking
news.
Where are you getting those pictures, Jim?
There's breaking news.
Holy
Friday night at Marshalltown, $350 to win for Mod Lights.
Oh, my
$350.
Draw,
Wow.
redraw, just in.
Sweet.
Did you get approval for the redraw for Mod Lights?
Yeah, I did. Jim gave me approval.
Okay.
Did you get approval for the purse for the Mod Lights?
Yeah, I got approval on that too. Jim gave me approval on that.
So you're set.
I'm set.
looking
Sweet.
forward. Those Mod Lights put on some of the best racing that we have.
I actually do. I
I
mean,
enjoy
that's.
watching
I mean, it's neat
I
that
like
they.
watching them.
It's neat that they get to be. Like
I've always
you said,
wanted to race one of those
Oh,
things.
good
too.
Lord, here we go again. Brett's
I want to
gonna
race a race saver.
If
I wanna race-
anybody has a car that you'd like to have destroyed,
I'm your
Brett
guy.
Rutt is the guy.
I'm your guy.
I mean, don't
Will
don't start
Virginia
with the Mod
let you
Lights.
race,
Will she let you race again? So say if I lined
Mod
up
Light.
say if I lined up a Mod Light for you to
Probably.
race.
Yes, but not a sprint car. She told me she would divorce me if I raced a sprint car. I'm like, well, that's kind of harsh.
Well, okay, now what if it's a winged or non-winged? See, because you got to get classification.
I wouldn't get it. I personally would not race a non-wing sprint car. I am no way. I am not that brave. You got to be brave to get in a sprint car anyway.
yeah, I mean-
them guys are. I'm telling you, sprint car guys are a different breed. There's some badass racers because you sit on the drive shaft for crying out loud. It's crazy, and they go out there and
special set of crazy and balls.
It just takes a special set.
they
Yeah,
are.
takes
Sprint car
a big,
racing
It takes
is
a big
awesome.
special set to do that.
Sprint car racing is.
So you're
awesome.
telling me if I could line you up a Mod Light ride, you'd
I give it a whirl. Why not?
Why not?
Did they flip easy?
Well,
not
I mean,
until you
not
get
until
there.
you.
And do I have to pay for anything I damage?
I don't know.
And there's
Jim?
the answer to your question
Yes,
right
yes.
there.
There's the answer to your question, right? Just ask
that's
Justin
right.
Kinderconnect.
That would be me.
No, that would be you backwards. The guy.
I mean,
that-
look at this camera guy. The photography guy's like, hey, cool, look at that.
Yeah, he's got
Is
his
that
camera
Zimmerline?
not down. I mean, he's not taking a
Is that
picture.
Zip?
of it. No, I don't know who that
not
guy
Zip.
is, but he's not taking. He's apparently watching the flip, not photographing the flip.
All right, we're running over.
Way over.
Wrap her up.
All right.
Baker's dozen next
So
event.
you got 350 Mod Lights tomorrow. I got a fair race in Vinton tonight.
Ooh,
Yeah,
we
there
got
is a fair race
Yeah,
tonight
we got
in
20. Yeah, we got 2,500 to win stock cars at Boone.
What about stock cars at Marshalltown, Jerry? Anything going on
Oh
there?
gosh, I forgot it is. It's $1,000 to win Friday night at Marshalltown.
So that'd make them
Breaking
B&B
news.
So, yep.
eligible.
And
What's
makes
the
a-
entry fee?
It is a big fat goose egg and $75 to start. So
You don't care about the racers if you ain't charging them an entry fee. You got to charge
What?
an entry fee. That means you like them.
that means so if I charge them an entry fee, I like them.
Yeah. In some people's
You're
world,
a
apparently.
racer's promoter.
You are a racer's promoter if you charge them $100 so they can race.
What I thought we were going to do, we get a waffle going for this hat. Get a waffle.
Waffle. What are we
A
going to
waffle.
Get a Jimmy Gustin waffle for that hat because
you can-
everybody wants it.
How you going to
So-
give it away?
How you can give it away?
I don't know. We'll come up. We'll talk about it in the Baker's Dozen 13.
Oh, you're gonna
That's the
tease
next-
everybody?
next
Yeah, see, put him there with the
Episode?
teasing.
Man.
Yeah, we'll tease them, then please them. We're not sure how we'll please them, but we'll tease them for sure. So
Until
the
then,
hat.
until then, make sure you get out and support a great. Can we touch on something? Hang on, Nate.
Yeah,
That's
you
a
can.
loaded question.
Nate wants involved.
Wow.
I'm your
Producer-
guy, Nate. I am your guy.
Producer Nate says, "Can we touch on something?" Let's wrap this show up then. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. We'll touch it. So, So after this week, because of the subscriptions, the replay pass, you see it up there. There is all the stuff you need to know. $24.99 gets you 30-day replay pass.
Speaking of 30.
Yeah,
And
so if you
speaking
don't want to pay for the pay-per-view live, which is usually in that range to watch one race,
Yep.
you can watch all the races on IMCA TV on the pay-per-view. On the replay, I'm sorry. On the replay for this amount. And what we do with that money, I don't necessarily take it to go on vacation with.
What?
No. But we're putting a good portion in it. I don't know what the percentage is, and then they pump that back into the point funds at the racetracks that are hosting those IMCA TV broadcasts. So it's actually paying the racers as well, and we aren't even charging the racer an entry fee to give them back that money.
And right now we're looking at almost $30,000.
It'll be over 30 grand.
Over 30
by the
grand
weekend.
after this weekend. That goes
Yeah,
to
we're
the
only-
racer pocket.
We're only halfway through the season.
We're only halfway through the season. Correct. Yeah. It'll push some pretty good money into some of the weekly tracks. So the tracks that are running the most broadcasts and get the most eyes, they proportionately get their share of the money. They break it down. Chris has got some crazy ass algorithm that he uses to figure out how many minutes or seconds watched at each event that allocates that money back to the point funds. Last year we did individual checks to the racers because we didn't get the point fund pushed into our normal point funds soon enough, so we did checks after the fact. This year we're going to try to automate that a little bit more so it pushes
Put it all together.
it all in one
nice.
check
One
to
and
the
done.
to the racers at the tracks that deserve it. So it'll elevate those point
Yeah,
funds.
because
as
then
well.
at that point you say, hey, here was your points fund, and because of the broadcast, this is what you got.
we try to explain that stuff.
So the money we get, or IMCA TV gets from the subscriptions, part of that goes back to the racer?
Yeah.
That sounds like crazy talk to me. That's like running a 2,500 to win race with no entry fee.
It is.
That's like stopping at a Subway and not
it's
being open
consistent,
at
isn't it?
11:45.
That is really showing
night.
how IMCA TV goes the extra mile for the racers.
And we do that because we save money on, we eat Chef Boyardee, we eat
Frito
Subway,
Scoops and
cheap Subway, we eat gas station food,
Mini ravioli,
mini raviolis, cold.
gas station egg rolls.
That's how we are able to push that money back in. We're not eating
Yeah,
we're not eating
that's
steaks
another
all the
thing,
time.
because Jim always says if he can't find Subway, he wants to eat gas station egg rolls, but then he beat me up for a corn dog. I mean, I don't know what I'm not sure what's
Are
worse.
we done yet?
The corn dog or the
We're getting off track. It's coming off the rails.
Oh, it's an hour and 15. People
Holy
I
crap.
have breakfast
Are we going to
pizza
charge
to eat.
extra for this show?
No, it's the same great low price.
Like it's like entry fee for a 2,500 to win race.
Yes, and
All right.
but unlike that, the talent here gets paid nothing.
Let's wrap it up.
Because
I
there
need
is
a
no-
number
We get
one.
paid our worth.
Need
I
a
think,
number
is
one?
worker.
Yeah.
Well, let's get a number one for it. It's a number two. Here we go. Number 13 coming next. If you can't make it out to a great IMCA sanctioned race in your part of the country, you can always find one somewhere to watch on IMCA TV. So get out and support local great IMCA racing via the internet or via the grandstands. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time for number 13.
Lucky number 13.
Baker's dozen.